So we've done quite a few examples of solving two-step equations together. If you look at the bottom of your page, the answers are always down here on this one for you to check. So if you check and see that you got all three of these correct all by yourself, I think that you don't need to watch this last video. You probably understand it well enough. If you didn't get these three answers, I would recommend that you watch my video to make sure that you get the correct answers written down and that you do have a little bit better understanding of solving two-step equations as we go. So I'm going to put a little dashed line through my equal sign, and I'm going to circle my term with the variable. The inverse of adding 8 is subtracting 8, and I do it to both sides. So 13w equals 169. The inverse of multiplying by 13 is dividing by 13. So I'm going to do that on both sides so that I have w equals 13. When I check my solution, 13 times 13 plus 8, I want to know, does that equal 177? 13 times 13 was one of those things we were supposed to have memorized. It was a perfect square, 169. 169 plus 8 is 177. So W does equal 13 here. On the next one, I'm going to put my dashed line through the equal sign. I'm going to circle the term with the variable and use inverse operations to get rid of plus 500 and subtract 500. When I subtract 500 from both sides, 500 minus 500 is 0, so I have f over 2 equals 600 minus 500 is 100. Again, a common mistake on this is going, oh, I know 100 divided by 2. 100 divided by 2 is 50. But if you plug 50 back in, 50 divided by 2 is not 100. So make sure that you understand the inverse operation f of f divided by 2 is f times 2. So we've got to multiply by 2 on both sides. The 2's cancel each other out, so I'm left with f. And 100 times 2 is actually 200, not 50. So I've got 500 plus 200 over 2, and I want to know, does that equal 600? When I use order of operations, 200 divided by 2 is 100, plus 500 is, in fact, 600. My answer checks, and f equals 200. And then this very last example, I'm drawing a dotted line through my equal sign. I'm circling the term with the variable, and I'm getting rid of plus 98 by doing the inverse, minus 98. 98 minus 98 is 0. And I'm left with 6a on the right side. 170 minus 98, that's almost like subtracting 100, but then it's adding 2 back, so 72. 170 minus 98 is 72. And then I'm getting rid of times 6 by dividing by 6 on both sides. And 72 divided by 6 is 12 equals a, or we can rewrite it as a equals 12 if we want the variable in front, which oftentimes we like it that way. So 170 equals 6 times 12 plus 98. We want to know, is that true? Well, 6 times 12 is 72, and 72 plus 98 is 170. So my answer checks and makes sense that a is equal to 12.